dasMEHDI. Head on over now. We'll go ahead and post the link into chat right there. Hop on over. And we're also going to be hopping on Brian motherfucking Knight. What's going on, Tana?
Out of there, Nino. Is that you in the lobby? That is.
Yeah, I actually just walked in.
How are you?
Pretty good. Markets are down, so that's kind of annoying. But other than that, I am planning.
Wait, what do you mean? The markets look up right now?
International markets.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Yep.
You know, I put $300,000 into Goober the other day. It's worth 250 yesterday.
Really?
It went down. What is that? 18% over a 24-hour period.
Jesus.
Mistakes were made. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just bring it to you. I'm not sure what the legal, if there's any sort of legal ramifications here. We're obviously dealing with a large, as you heard in the meeting, large amount of heavy weaponry here.
Okay.
Right, and on a regular as well. We're talking, I don't know if that was during. It was during. I mean, about 2.5 times over the last 11 days, we've had a total of I believe 27 incidents involving Class 2s and officers being shot. We need to have a bit more teeth here as a PD. I want to start pushing search warrants, heavier search warrants, more often. What are the legalities around giving out bonuses for search warrants?
Ugh.
That goes down.
I would not do that.
Sketchy road here.
Yeah, that's a very. I would not do that.
Okay.
Because then you're encouraging, you're incentivizing doing. It would be a. I don't think that's a good carrot.
I'm trying to figure out a way to motivate officers here. Money isn't always a motivation, but it's more or less a way to bring up the subject and push it. We need to be serving more search warrants.
I think
search warrants.
Yeah. I agree. I could see that.
I will. I'll go back to the drawing board there. Unless you have any ideas.
Yeah, I feel like let me cook on this a bit, but I think it starts by I feel like this is the cart before the horse, right? I had a chat with Ventura on that topic of the criminal code that we had discussed the other day, with the document and how a criminal code can actually expand on laws as it should, and that sort of thing. The issue is that I think that is the legal basis that should be built up, which then opens the door to, if X, Y, and Z happens, you have the legislative backing to then conduct a raid. You then have the legislative backing to take things to the next level. Because otherwise you're going to get into these problems where, okay, you did all that, right? But now your warrant gets thrown out because one judge disagrees with another judge. And all that work you did for a month or two is pointless. And now you have a civil lawsuit and you're getting sued for $500,000, which are then used to buy more guns to replace what you took. I think equally that should be the backbone of a detective unit. Because as my understanding, and I'm just going to shit talk a little bit, you've got an example of shit detectives up in Blaine County that have actively produced nothing and have dragged others through the mud. And I know I'm talking in like undertones here a bit, but if you are aware of what I'm referencing, I hopefully you agree, right? Where are their court cases? Why is the plague getting spread around? Why are people hiding the fact that there was a cure? Why are they, like the fuck? No, you need detectives that are building up legislation, because that is your most powerful tool. Otherwise, it's going to end up like Barrett versus, what's his name? Right? Did you know about this court case 2 days ago?
No. I haven't been aware of any large scale besides the one with.
It's like Richard Dark and Barrett pulled over Reggie Might. They threw out the warrant. Rebozo. And I'm going to be honest with you. I looked at that warrant and I actually don't know why the warrant was thrown out. It fucking cooks my mind. And I'm usually the one who says warrants are dog shit.
Was it a good warrant?
I don't know what the problem was with it. I wish I was there. It was a late night court case. I mean, it's posted up, but
it got ruled in favor of the defendant, Reggie Might.
Yes,
but it was a good warrant.
I do not know why it was thrown out. It looked like it was good. In fact, Tony's in my cabinet. He was one of the lawyers, and he told me about it. And I'm like looking at it, and like obviously, I was like ready to be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But I looked at it, and they detained him over probable cause of an attempted murder based on tweets that he made out, which is enough for at least the detainment. And apparently the fucking murder happened. Now, I will say that it was lacking a timeline and whatnot. But even then, like, it was very fucking confusing. I still want to know, like, what was the contention point?
So the warrant itself was denied on the spot?
No, it was actually approved. Now, bear in mind that I'm like second, third hand information. The warrant was approved. They went through it, and then there was a civil lawsuit that came afterwards, and they won the civil lawsuit. So I'm gonna go through the docket thing. I'm gonna probably talk to Moose. I don't know. It's because, well, I'll tell you how. Because the DOJ is complete dog shit. And hopefully it gets better. But right now, because they don't know a lot of core principles of things, nothing makes any sense.
If the facts are in the warrant and they're legitimate and they're obtained legally,
and it's been signed, you have to sue the DOJ.
How do they get sued?
I don't know. That is literally your job, is that you get it signed. The only reason they should get sued is like the moment the judge signs that, they're taking ownership. Or the only way that the department should be signed or should lose is like if what do you call it? If they like lied in the warrant.
It's about. I mean, when it comes to a warrant, I'm assuming qualified immunity somewhat applies as well. It's based on the information that's provided at the time to officers. As long as they're not lying in it and the information they got was provided or obtained legally and it met the criteria, if they signed for it, now it's on the DOJ. Now, I guess that's where they could contest a warrant. Say the information was, obtained illegally. Now they go after the PD.
There is no cohesive there is no cohesive understanding on the basic principles of how the judiciary should operate, right? They're kind of making up shit as they go. And that's a problem, right? Because you are going to be aiming your gun, to use an analogy, aiming the gun on your target, right? But then all of a sudden, it's like, they're like, no, that's not the target. The target is now behind you, right? Now you go start aiming at the target behind you, and another judge says, oh, no, it's that other target over there. So does that making sense? You're spending your time trying to get the bullseye, but it turns out that they're telling you to target somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, the bullseye transfers once that's signed.
Yeah,
and nobody's. That would make sense why the DOJ is going to try to. I believe I don't know if we got that in writing or not about them reimbursing us for the other case that's on the docket.
yeah. So
I got to check with Masters on that.
yeah. So like the whole bonuses for this, I don't think it's makes sense. I don't want to back it because I think on principle it's gonna lead to bad faith warrants. I think instead the focus needs to be building up legislation so that you're gonna end up with more lawsuits if you start doing that.
We could definitely do both ways, right? We could definitely. Bailey's out of town right now. I'm waiting for Bailey to come back to continue back with that legislation aspect of it. I am not. It's while I can read it and have a basic understanding of it, I'm definitely not. It's not my forte, right? I do my best where I can.
Let me ask you a question. If people need to be motivated by money to investigate, what makes you think they're the right person to begin with?
No, it's more so about, maybe it's not the best way to put it, but more so to hype people up, get people involved. Warrants should be able to be filled out by every officer. By every officer involved, everyone should be able to come off wrong there, and that's what I'm trying to explore as a way to build up this a push for more warrants right now.
I don't think money should be it. Okay. I think sounds like you need people
no as well.
Yeah, it's I have tried this in the past, so this isn't coming out of nowhere. We've tried it with like warrant apprehensions, right, and stuff, and it ends up making a bunch of bozos be the ones who are like, oh my god, more pots, oh god, and then they do some like fucking hyper dumb shit. And what scares me is
the DOJ does it, right? For every large scale apprehension.
We did big ones. Yeah, there was like bounties being put out, and then you got people got, let's just say, focused on the money and not the police work, right? So we ended up being situations. You end up getting the ping chases doing it. And it scares me thinking a bunch of ping chases putting some dog shit warrants together. And now I've got that breathing down my neck. And then they're going to have the really good defense of like, well, this happened because there's a monetary attachment to it. So we're being incentivized to make potential bad warrants. And this would be okay if there was an existing history of warrants not getting thrown out. But because the history right now is, in the past 2 months, there's been so many warrants thrown out after being signed in court.
By a judge, you're saying?
Correct.
I mean,
the like, even with the Pred case, right? Like, there's been certain cases where I wanted a ruling to go a certain way, right? And it was conducive for a warrant to get thrown out for me, for my position. But I still didn't agree with the warrant getting thrown out in the midst of a court case. If a warrant needs to be challenged and reviewed, it should happen earlier in the process.
It should happen in a separate case. It should be a warrant review.
Agreed.
Some sort of, I don't know, warrant review trial. I don't know.
Like I said, it's a systemic issue, right? I know we're talking about it's just things need to make sense. They don't at the moment. There's too much variability.
Yeah.
You're building.
It should be stopping at the DOJ. That should be a check and balance right there, and it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it should stop at our sergeants. Our sergeants should be fact checking all the warrants that are put through, and nothing bad should be getting put through to.
I'm swapping chat.
Or should be getting put through.
I'll see you on Kick.
We shouldn't have to rely.
See you guys. Go over kick.com/dasMEHDI.
You tell us whether a warrant is good. Which I guess that the ball's getting dropped out. All right, back to the drawing board.
Yep. Well, to be fair to your sergeants and stuff, they're probably like, what are they gonna do?
Well, I guess I'm thinking of specific cases where there's warrants that have been signed by sergeants that are dog shit. But then also getting signed by the DOJ. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some cases where they are dog shit. Like the one that was written for Pred. But the DOJ should also be, I don't know, man. It's cooked.
I know. I don't want to say we're doing our job because I see us dropping the ball at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's signed by DOJ, we shouldn't be getting. There's so many different angles to this right now.
The warrant should be open for review, but it needs to be cohesive so it makes sense. Otherwise, it's like you're building a house. You finish building the house, and it turns out that, you know, the cement you used was cooked, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
So, all right. All right, Turner, I'm going to take a shit in your bathroom over here.
All right.
And then get off duty. It's really not difficult. That's all you do.
That's what you think.
No, that's not even what I think. That's what I do. Because it's easy.